Hi, how are you? My name is Houston and welcome back to another video. Crispy. That's what I'm enjoying. I've been enjoying these. I think that ginger ale and ginger beer have been a massive carrier of my sobriety. Almost at 600 days, 592 days without any alcohol. Who would have thought? When I first started, not me, that's for sure. I'm surprisingly not tired today, even after running 16 miles this morning. It's beautiful, dude. I feel like I am back. I feel like I can actually train. I mean, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but it feels really good to be able to actually go out and not only hit the workouts, which are obviously really important for getting faster, but to be able to do these long runs and to be able to hold myself back and stay in that lower effort zone. All that to say, I am in a pretty good mood today. So let's get back into some Wuchang. I am pleasantly surprised by this game. I feel like it is actually offering me like a pretty damn good Souls-like experience. And even though the story is kind of whatever, like I don't really understand anything about the story. Yeah, like I said in the last video, the combat is pretty solid. Speaking of combat, though, see that Battlefield 6 trailer? It's looking kind of nice. Oh, I forgot I changed my parry button. Damn. Okay. Right off the bat, dude, just no warm up. Just fight a red-eyed or elite enemy, whatever you want to call them. And I really thought I had it with the parries, but I guess not. But yeah, Battlefield 6 looking pretty good. I haven't played Call of Duty in God knows how long. I even uninstalled it. I don't know if it's a combination of not really enjoying FPSs and getting more and more into single player games. I would think that it's probably a combination of both those things. Battlefield just calls my name in a very different way than Call of Duty does. As it should too, because they're just completely different games. I feel like you're less likely. I mean, you're always going to run into those people that are just trying to play an FPS like they're in the World Series. Because FPSs have sort of put themselves in the slot of, in gaming at least, of the type of game where people can just no life it and they can get a streaming career out of it, or all it takes is like one really good viral clip and that might be the thing that makes people show up to your stream or makes people subscribe to your YouTube channel or whatever. And that's all good and fair. Like, I won't hate on it. It's whatever you want to spend your time doing, that's cool. That's none of my business. See, I feel like what? I feel like falling to my death. That's what I feel like. Maybe it's not FPSs that only dominate that space, but I think that because FPSs are so ubiquitous, that makes it so you're more likely to see a lot more like average people trying to get their big break with those types of games. Battlefield has never felt like that to me whenever I've played it. I really love Battlefield 1. I thought it was held back by a lot of lack of customization. And I think that's just because of the setting they chose. But I think, and I might be in the minority here, Battlefield 5 was a really strong entry to the series. That's what I need right there. Gotta get better at dodging and just getting that attack in on their back. Because like I feel like that's the main rhythm of this game. Like that's a super important part of it. So Battlefield 6 is coming along, and although 2042 was a colossal disaster on release, they did kind of end up like fixing the game in a way, but the nature of these things, dude. It's just it's too late. Like you can't fumble the release like that or nobody's gonna play it because people are just gonna be on to the next thing. And as unfortunate as that is, it's just the way things are. I'm definitely of the opinion that we should, myself included, be a little bit better about giving things a chance, even if they let us down one time. Battlefield 6 is looking super promising in the same way that 2042 was. I think that we'll see a better idea of where the game is and how it performs once the beta comes out next week. Again, it is hard to tell though, because the 2042 beta was great, and then they just I mean, well, it was super buggy if I remember correctly, but it was still really fun, and that's the most important thing. I think that a true Battlefield 1 experience is one where you have to embrace the big team battle type of gameplay. Like when you're playing Rush and you barely scrape by, you're on the last point, but then everybody just like locks in and you figure out a way to defend that last point and the enemy loses all their lives. Like that is what Battlefield is about to me. Because while you're still on like squads of 4, you really do have to work together. Like everybody kind of has to play their role. I'm not super caught up with all of the news on it, so I'm not sure if they're going to do the whole class system or if they're going to do the just like free weapon select. But last I heard, they're locking certain weapons to classes, or the fact that they're going to do a beta with the locked classes, and then depending on the response, they might open up the classes. I actually prefer it that way too. I like when somebody has to, you choose your character and then you have to play that role. I know that there was a huge debate about whether they should have like tag sprint in the game too, which I think is funny. I think that everybody is so obsessed, and I definitely blame Modern Warfare 2019 for this, but everybody is so obsessed with the most like high octane, fastest gameplay you can imagine. Whereas you can still play the game fast without having to activate tac sprint and slide cancel and do all the things associated with the most like seizure inducing gameplay you've ever seen. I know that sounds like an unk opinion, but I think that there is a lot of space for people to make their way or pave their way as a creator on a game like Battlefield that is still focused around the gameplay, but not the type of gameplay that you see from a lot of Call of Duty players these days. Like I was saying at the beginning, I was able to get a 16-mile run in today, and that is the longest run that I have done in at least 6 months. I've been battling this moving injury, and I know that a lot of people already know that because I just repeat it so much, but it's something that afflicts me like every day. So yeah, that's why I repeat it so much. But it kind of went from my left hamstring to my right hamstring. That doesn't make any sense, I know, but it did. And then it went to my right knee, and then it went to my left like shin, ankle, lower calf, Achilles area. And that's kind of where it sat for probably about the past 6 months. It's been really tough because it's tightness that scares me, where I'm like, oh, okay, if I maybe step in one wrong way, then is my whole Achilles going to rupture? And then I'll definitely be out of commission. As I've sort of switched up my strength training routine, it has helped alleviate a lot of the stress that has been on those tendons and those muscles. It makes me believe that maybe I wasn't strength training my lower body in a way that was complementary enough to my running. I got started with all this stuff, weightlifting, but it seems like maybe I was just like missing some small things with weightlifting that could have really been helping me with my running this whole entire time. The way this stuff works is that you sign up for a race, and then you have this idea of how you want to perform in the race. So for me, I obviously want to run a 3:10 marathon, and I don't really want to hit my goal. I want to crush it. But then of course, my body is like, hey man, we got different plans. Like, we're not really going to hold up, or you're not ready for this actually right now. So maybe rethink your whole 3:10 marathon plan. And yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow, because you think of all these ways that you can get stronger and get faster, and all these ways that you can actually make it happen despite the universe seemingly throwing an obstacle in your way every 5 feet. And it seems that like that is the grit part of all the training. It's not necessarily like, getting out the door and doing the long run or doing the workout. It's understanding that there are always going to be obstacles in your way like that, like being injured or like not having the like will to go on because of an injury, but it just so happens that every time you still have to show up. You still got to do the thing. And yes, that does go hand in hand with, you know, getting out there and doing the long run. But to me, it just seems like, well, as somebody that's going through the whole injury thing, it seems like that's a much harder piece of the puzzle. Not getting demoralized by the fact that you are injured. And also wondering to yourself ever so often, is this actually possible? Am I ever going to be as fast or faster than I once was? For me, is a 3:24 marathon the end for me? Or not the end, but is that the fastest I will ever run? Is a 50-mile ultra marathon the furthest I'll ever run? I don't know. And that's something that I just kind of got to wrestle with. Obviously, a really important part of this is to never let that actually come true, or at least just, you know, fight it as much as you can. So for me, I'm like, no, dude, I'll definitely run faster than 3:24, or I will definitely run a further race than a 50 miler. My worst fear is probably becoming someone who's a complainer. Like, oh man, it's just, you know, it's not good enough. Like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it, or I don't know if I'll ever be that fast, or just blaming other things that are clearly outside my control. The whole complaining thing is something that I've been sitting with in my journal this week, because one of the prompts in the Daily Stoic was something like, try to go the whole week without complaining about other people's actions, or even your own actions, or your own thoughts about things. And it's really tough, because it's so easy when you don't have like any really bad debilitating issues to just start complaining about anything and everything. It's weird, because there's like a slippery slope here where, you know, yeah, it could pretty much always be worse, but that doesn't mean that your problems should be like completely minimized. But again, it could be a lot worse. Like, there's that story about Theodore Roosevelt, and after being told that he would likely be confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life, he said, well, I can still work that way. It takes a lot of determination, and it really does take a certain type of person to actually believe that sort of stuff about yourself. Obviously, it's one thing to say that, and then a whole other thing to actually get confined to the wheelchair and actually start or keep doing the work that you were already doing before it happened. Like, I was talking to my younger brother about changing some stuff up in his life, and really trying to push home the point that none of this stuff is going to come to you in a heartbeat. You know, none of this is like the true work of becoming someone who is, like, I guess, well adjusted, and somebody who is dependable and can actually like start to make a difference and be a contributing member of society. All that stuff takes time, dude. None of that stuff is handed to you, and it is really difficult to come out of a rut. I've always been somebody that believed it was infinitely more difficult to go from 0 to 1 than it is to go from like 1 to 5. It's really hard to pick yourself up when you feel like there's no meaning, you're not worth anything, and to finally start to do some stuff where, or start to find and start to cultivate that meaning in your life. Because you're just born one day, and meaning can't just be handed to you. It is given to you, but it's only given to you paired up with the work that you have to put in. And everyone's meaning is going to be something different as well. But again, that's the hard part. You gotta find the things that provide it for you. And that's, I don't know, it's hard, because you can never really tell somebody what means something to them. I'm gonna keep it 100,000 million%. I have no idea where I'm supposed to be going right now. There's this fantastic book called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. He was in the Holocaust. His whole family died. He survived the Holocaust. He survived concentration camps. And he said, for someone to have a why to live, they can bear almost any how. A really popular why for a lot of people, especially in the endurance space, is because they want to find out what they're capable of. So that's how they get through the difficult days, because they keep reminding themselves that I'm doing this because I want to find out where my limits are. And honestly, that's one thing for me that is, pretty prevalent in my life. And that's part of the reason why I sign up for so many endurance related things, or just really why I started to sign up for them in the first place. Inevitably, you're always going to meet your maker with all these endeavors too, but that's part of the journey. Like understanding where your limits are, and then in that moment thinking, can I get past this? I recently got a bike as well. I forgot to mention that, and I've been cycling a little bit, and that has been an adventure for sure. Cycling's expensive. I just had to remeasure like every part of my body to figure out what size bibs I wear, because apparently every cyclist is 6'3" and like 140 pounds, and that is not me. It's a lot of fun. It's all part of this journey to hopefully do an Ironman someday. Really excited for that. I'm really excited for what the future holds, both professionally and recreationally, with and creatively, honestly, with my job, my training, this whole YouTube thing. I really appreciate every single one of you. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.